that in the middle of this pandemic, as people are hunkered down in their houses, businesses are shuttered, and the death toll in the US is hovering around 100,000. It's probably surpassed that by now. I haven't looked lately. That negotiating free trade deals would be way down on the list of things to do. You might even think that there would be lessons that we can learn from the COVID-19 pandemic before we negotiate new trade deals. Trade agreements that, as we have seen today and heard from our speakers, have been the cause of significant economic dislocation, spiraling medical costs, the shortages of PPE and medical equipment, and they've led to ramped up greenhouse gas emissions and accelerating climate change. These trade deals have also promoted a factory farm model that hurt farmers, has lowered food quality, and has created the ideal conditions actually for the spread of novel flu viruses from animals to humans. Sound familiar? So you would be wrong though if you thought that corporations that have benefited from these trade deals and the US government have learned anything from the pandemic. The US Trade Representative has actually initiated negotiations just this month with the United Kingdom to negotiate a full trade agreement. And they're already moving very quickly at speed and intending to negotiate it as quickly as possible. Negotiations with the European Union were started before the pandemic, and nothing about the pandemic has slowed down or changed the trajectory that was already in place in those discussions. The US has just published negotiating objectives for a comprehensive free trade agreement with Kenya. And the government envisions this to be a model for future FTAs that will kind of march across the African continent. And there's also been talk from the White House about trade deals with India and Brazil. The latter will just say this week they closed off travel because of the spiraling cases of infection due to COVID.